Well, we think it's a very good idea when you're using gCADPlus to follow our published rules and standards for making new symbols. A couple of symbols here have been made correctly. Let's pick this one, and maybe before I do, I'll turn on the plant symbol layer, and I'll turn off the construction layer. So all looks fine there, and if we move up here, these other symbols also look fine. But the whole idea of using layers within your symbols is to produce, in this case you might want to produce a planting layout for your construction team. So we turn off the symbol layer and turn on the construction layer. And so if you're working in here, you can see if I select, that's a symbol for a convolvulus. It's not yet labelled. This is a symbol for roses. But if we come up to the top here, can you see what a mess we've got ourselves into up here? So let's just pick one of these symbols here. That's a symbol for Buxus sempervirens. So let's edit it now, and we edit the block. And look what's happened there. There's lots and lots of fiddling around's been going on in here. So for example, here's a circle over here. All symbols in gCADPlus should be have their base point pointing to 0, 0. So if I say line from 0, 0, we can see that this is where the symbol should be. So these are all not required. So now we have on layer construction there. We have, what have we got in here? We've got a point, that looks fine for me, and we've got a probably a rectangle with a colour there in the centre. So if I now close the block editor, things are starting to look a little better, although I think there's a different X and Y scale being used in here, and there is 1.25. Well, that's another symbol for Buxus again. You can see the strange looking extra symbols, so I better edit that one as well. It's probably the same, but we'll just go L for line 0, 0, and that tells us we can safely remove all of these, and we close the block editor. We're improving things, but not quite well enough, I think. I'm still a little puzzled by these with the, that's a very odd way to do a symbol. You're using what looks to be an ellipse. Let's go in there again, edit that block. No, that's a circle. So the circle, the block's been put in with different X and Y values, and the thing that is needed to be displayed is sitting in the centre of the block. So that's a very muddled way of making blocks. Much better to stick to the published standard. I also noticed over here that this group of symbols on the left hand side has been mirrored, and so another thing we need to look at is to probably we'd need to explode that group, but text, there's a switch where you can turn off mirroring in text, but I'll digress. So that's just a little comment or two about the need to be a bit careful when you are making a new block symbol. So we would take the view, I think, where if we were wanting to put in a Buxus hedge, we would use one of these symbols that comes with gCADPlus, and here's an example. And so at that point there, we would go to turn off the construction layer and turn on the symbol layer, and so our Buxus hedge will run through to the end. So we could just select that symbol and then copy that symbol with polar on, copy it from say there along to that point and so on to make our Buxus hedge, and we can still count the plants in the usual way.